every single time that I've been banged up, that I've done a lump, not like a week behind the door. Every single time that I've been banged up, I've made lifelong friends. Like best mates. When you're in there, best mates. Proper ride or die mates, you know what I mean? That you do anything for. You see him fighting, you'll jump in. You see him getting twisted up, you'll help him. If you need him, if you see him in some sort of trouble because he's about to get caught with something, you'll stand in front of him. All that, because because of the unnatural way that you're forced to live on a wing together 24 hours a day. Like it sort of forces you to get under each other's feet all the time. So you can quickly get close to people, can't you? In that way. Also, it can go the other way, can't it? It can cause people to fall out. Being on a close swing it can find people out quite quick, like what they're made of. If push comes to shove, being on your own, not knowing no one. If it comes on top for you, it's how you act in that sort of situation, isn't it? That's how you are as a man or a woman. That's how you are. That's how you are. That's how your personality is, I should say. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, boy or a girl, man or adult or a child. Like if when you're on your own, when you're proper on your own, and you know no one, and it comes on top of you. And how you act, how you react. If you react in the right way, that's sort of what you made. That's what you're made out of in real life, really. But anyway, that's got nothing. That has nothing to do with this one. Yeah, it can also it can going by that. It forces you to want to make allies quicker as well. Yeah, so you're on the wing, you don't know anyone. You might bump into 10 people in 10 minutes time that you've got severe beef with. You want at least 1 or 2 people with you. So that in that way, and plus it's subconsciously nobody wants to feel like they're totally isolated and totally on their own. If they're being truthful with themselves and truthful with other people, no one wants to feel like they're totally isolated. I mean, we're social creatures, aren't we? Yeah. Also, you don't want to be Billy No Mates, do you? Walking around. I bet time drags. If you don't talk to anybody on the wing, if you're on the wing, and there's people like that on the wing, not digging them out in any way, but just for me personally, and I may be wrong, but if you're walking around on the wing and you look and matey never talks to anybody, you've got your head down, hands in your pockets, walking around the exercise yard on your own, coming out your cell and sort of leaning on the railings, talking to nobody, bang up, turning back round and going back in your cell. That's got to be a lonely time in jail, isn't it? And the time has got to drag as well. Time has to drag. Time stands still. Time stands still in jail. So time's got to drag, man. Yeah. So it's sort of going by how it is straight from the off. You're in an unnatural environment straight from the off. So you're not going to have, when you're thinking, you're not going to have natural friendships, really. We all think we're going to make lifelong friends, and I say think, you're not setting out to make a lifelong friend when you get on the wing, are you? I'm not making it trying to make it sound like a fairy tale, like, you know what I mean? But when you, with the best intentions in the world, you make pals with people, and you forget people, don't you? It's quite easy. You talk about road, you talk about linking up on road, you talk about earners you're going to have on road, talk about you'll both go to each other's ends and you'll show each other how you're smashing it and how you're moving in your ends, all that. I can remember being in Pentonville. I was either doing 28 months or 16 months. I'm leaning towards 28 months. I've done the whole lot, either or. I've done both lumps in Pentonville, so I think it was the 28 months. That's not important. So I think I'd have done 14 months in Pentonville, and yeah. So I was on. So we're talking G wing. I got put on hold as well, and I've gone on loads of times in loads of these videos about how much I don't like Pentonville, yeah, how much I dislike Pentonville. But then I've been put on hold there twice, like deliberately, like said, like that's to stop me getting shipped out. You get put on hold. You could get put on a medical hold. You know, you got upcoming doctor's appointments, and they're not going to move you to another jail. Messes your appointments up. You can also I got put on a work hold because I was earning loads of money there. It's as simple as that. It's a rubbish jail, but I was what I was earning what 80 quid a week on the bio, yeah. And this was when I was getting a tenner a bio. I don't know what you're getting now. I don't even know if they do it anymore. But a tenner a bio, so you're doing one a day. You know what I mean? Um, so there was a lifer in there as well, right? I'm on G Wing. This is them times. G Wing. A lifer got sent there. I think he'd been in about 28 years. He had been. He was. Right, he'd been in jail for 28 years already. He'd had a bit of a drama in the DCAT with the officers. Well, it's what he told me anyway. So I'm only going by what he's told me. He had a drama in the DCAT with other officers. DCAT is the lowest security you can get. You work your way to a DCAT if you're doing that sort of big sentence, and then from a DCAT you work to get released. And he'd had a drama with the officers and absconded, not escaped. You can't escape from nowhere from a place where there's no wall. So he absconded. He walked off, and I'm pretty sure he handed himself in somewhere in North London and got sent to Pentonville. It's as simple as that. Ended up on G Wing, but that was nice for him. Yeah, so he loved a bit of subby as well. I mean, in my experience, all the lifers that I've met, the ones that have been in jail for like 10 years plus, there's with exceptions, not every single one, but a lot of them love to get on it. And why not? Rightly so. I mean, take what you can to get through the day, I suppose. You know what I mean? I used to do that, and I was doing 2 years. So yeah, he had a single set. He was down on the twos in Pentonville, right? He was down on the twos on G Wing. He was down on the twos. The ones back in these times, I think, was for the bacons, for the wrong uns, right? On the ones. So no one ever went down there. No one ever see down there. I'm sure it's that. Might have even been resettlement. I might just be giving these people a bad name here. It might have been resettlement. Either way, yeah. Normal part of G Wing weren't allowed down there, right? So he was on the twos in a single cell. He was a lifer. He didn't want a cellmate. Fair enough. Yeah, but like I said, he loved a bit of subby, and so did I. So we used to sit in his cell together, having a coffee, a line of subby, a biscuit, talking about all sorts. And he was up for everything as well. He was up for everything. He'd be up for all sorts, right? Because, like I said a minute ago, time stands still in prison. Time does stand still in prison, yeah? So I believe, this is just my opinion, that you go to prison and you mentally stay the same age of when you first went in. So if you go to prison when you're 18, which I'm pretty sure he did, he was like 48, something like that. 18, 28, 38. Yeah, so, or 46 or something. So he was sort of mentally like 18. So he was up for everything, climbing through windows also. He wasn't a reformed, I'm not saying he was a reformed character, but, you know, neither was I. So we'd be sitting there reminiscing, getting off our nuts, you know what I mean? And yeah, we formed a bond like that, you know what I mean? But and it was always on me to go and get the subby as well, yeah. It was always on me to go and get the subby, right? He worked on the servery on G Wing, so he didn't really get a chance to go off. I was banged up with someone on the freeze. Geezer that worked with me, he was on the bio, so we was both earning dough. Listen, between us, yeah, regularly was having like nearly a tour on our canteen sheets every week between us, yeah. I'm not trying to. Well, that's like footballers' wages. It's as simple as that. I mean, most people ain't getting 50 quid, 100 quid a week on their canteen regularly, 50 quid, 100 quid a week, and myself included. It was only them times I was on the bio team that I had that money all the time. But you know, usually you're getting paid 8 quid a week, eight with nothing else either side of it, just 8. You know what I mean? Less like half that if you're working part time, which most people aren't now. So 4 with nothing else. Mate, I don't know how people can live on just like part-time wages and that's it. That's literally it. Um, so yeah, I was banged up with matey. He was downstairs. Me and matey used to give out the canteen. I've already done a whole video about that, about how we was robbing the canteen. All alleged, of course, could be made up. But oh, it's out of order, innit? But do you know, if like back then, before the smoking ban, I'll quickly say it. If people just bought an ounce of amber leaf, it would be like the flat one or golden Virgin, whatever it was. If it was just an ounce, yeah, we just slide it under our own door and not put it under theirs, innit? And fucking it'd be chalked down as missing, and they get their tobacco the next day or later on that day. We'd have their snout. Lovely. But eventually, no, eventually you just start getting you greedy, didn't you? And we was working it. The screw was opening that door, going, give out the canteen, lads. Open the door, going, shut the door behind you. If anyone's been in jail before, you can grab hold of the lock and sort of twist it and slam it so it looks like it's shut, and then push it back a little bit and leave it so the handle's not locked, so you can open it and shut it. Well, because it's not locked, but it looks like you've done it. We'd be giving out the canteen. We'd be chucking like, because obviously G-Wing, people get moved off there all the time. So like you can't really. I don't know how we got away with it and never got caught, to be honest with you. But we was literally chucking £50 canteen. We'd be like, man, that's got untold burn in it. That's what we need this week. Straight in our door, thing. And people would be moaning and complaining, and the screws. We never got caught because it always looked like our door was shut. When it was time to when it was finished, you can imagine when it was finished. We just shut our door, lock it. Once we nicked about 100 quid worth of canteen, single burn here, there. Oh, mate, we smashed the granny out of it. Me and my cellmate, we was all over it. We just locked the door. So we'd be standing there, ready to go in. Screw would be there. And he'd unlock it with his own key. Let it go in now, boys. You know what I mean? Our canteens would be there. Our canteens wouldn't even be in the cell. It would be there because the door would be locked. So how could we put our own canteens in the cell? He'd check it quick, out the door. We'd go in. Quickly undo everything, chuck all the receipts away. Everyone would get refunded, but if we'd have got caught, it wouldn't have been a good look. Let's just put it that way. But it is what it is. That's what we was doing, yeah. Old matey, the lifer down on the twos, knew what we was doing. Knew what we was up to, and I think he was up to it on a miniature scale down on his one, because you couldn't just walk up and down. All the gates were locked off, so we'd be doing the threes, say. He'd be down doing the twos. And he was doing his thing down there, doing whatever he was doing. So between the three of us, it was just untold subby texts all the time, yeah. And yeah, we'd be scheming, we'd be plotting. That's how we'd be spending our days. We'd be either scheming and plotting on how to get texts. You know what I mean? Where's my coffee? We'd be scheming and plotting and either how to get it, or we'd have had it and we'd be sniffing it and talking rubbish over a coffee and a roll up and a biscuit, talking about what we could do when we get out. And he'd be all up for it because he had the brain of like a 19-year-old mentally. Like, this ain't a bad thing, is it? You don't want to rot. It's better to get out feeling young and vibrant when you finish your bit of bird and feeling your age. If we all felt our age after we finished with our burden, mate, we really would be sitting there thinking of the wasted years. I'll sit there and think of the wasted years as it is, but anyway, yeah. So it's always on me to get it. Them two couldn't get it. He never left the wing, lifer, and matey that was banged up with me was a donut, allegedly. But it was all over the canteen, and so I'd either get it at chapel on the weekend off someone off F wing, or I'd have to go through E wing every day to get to where I was going to work. Yeah, so I'd fly upstairs because it was movements. There'd be all the gates and all that would be open because it was movements on every wing. I'd walk on the E wing and just run upstairs with me snout, stamped and squeezed, ready to go, because I had to slide it under a door, run up to the door. Geezer was up on I can't remember the IS 4s or 5s, whatever it was. And I'd run up there, slide it under the door, he'd be there, Everyone, no one moved quick on the ENF wing for some reason. Shuffled about a lot. Be like, hurry up, mate, come on. I've got 2 seconds before they shut the gate and I'm caught. You'd be there, slide it under, bang, gone. And then, or on the exercise yard, we'd go out as G wing, and I'd have to either catch F wing either as I was coming back from their yard or going to their yard, which was always long. It was, oh, mate. They usually start coming in at the same time we come in, but we'd never catch them coming out. So I'd be standing there like, it would just be me, would it? Listen, I didn't invent this move. Like, we'd all be standing there, just ignoring the screws, going, get in, just huddled there like the junkies we were. It's as simple as that. Right, but they come to get out, innit? I should say a story about just a quick about a PlayStation, yeah. Right. So I had a PlayStation this sentence. Before I got out. Obviously, I'm going to sell it, and I could have left it to someone else, but I'd rather have sold it like a week before I got out and get on it for a night out, right? That's what I did, didn't it? Yeah. So I've given it to this geezer for a load of tramadol and pre-gabs, I think, loads, whatever. And I'm going out in a week. Geezer was below me, yeah. Listen to this. This geezer was red hot. He was on close visits and all that. The geezer I sold it to. The geezer I sold it to, right? I've sold it to him. The day I'm getting out, he's already had it for a week. The day I'm getting out, yeah? The day I'm going home, I'm basically down in matey's cell having a coffee. I was a cleaner, so I'm let out. He's a cleaner, he's let out. You never get, this was one of them ones I got released at about 11 or something, 10, 11. So I'm just dossing around, having a drink and just dossing. He's on the phone, isn't he? He's on the phone. Matey that I sold it to, talking on the phone, and it's nothing really, talking on the phone about buying the PlayStation from me, yeah? Alright? I don't know what he's saying, I'm not there, I'm not listening to the conversation, and it wasn't happening there and then. This was already happened before the day I was going. Screws have gone up to his door because he's monitoring his conversations, he's on closed visits, he's this, he's that. And they've confiscated the PlayStation off him, yeah? Right? The day I'm going home, I'm basically literally in matey's cell, 1 foot in the gate, 1 foot out. Basically, they've gone here. Give me the PlayStation. I'm like, what? So, what? They went, you can't sell things before you go and all that. Yeah, they didn't like this geezer, obviously, right? They were monitoring, just picking on him. I'm like, yeah, you for real? Like, I don't want this back. I probably told the screw, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I probably sold it to him, mate. You can't do that, right? Then you've got to take it with you and all that, yeah? I was like, what? And this screw was a bit of it was a bit moody, right? And he would have been the one that was standing there on the gate. I was like, what's this geezer on, mate? Anyway. Basically, I'll just tell you what we did. We got to the gate, yeah. They said, right, we're standing at the gate now. I've got the bag, got the PS in my hand. We're at the gate. The lifer's there. He's the only one standing there now. There's another geezer there. I can't remember who he was now, but he was all right. Screws come along. Aldrin, name and number. Aldrin, agent was 06AX. We're going home, gov, lovely. I've just chucked the PS in the bin. I just chucked the PS in the bin while the screw that had given it back to me was in the office, and I just left. Lifer got it out, took the PS. See you later, mate. There you go. You can have it. Give it to him up there. All right, yeah. Yeah. Got out. Probably crossed the road, went to the offie, grabbed a beer. Probably grabbed a pack of B&H whatevers, and never looked back. Just never thought about him again. Yeah, never thought about him. Never sent him any dough. Never Never tried to ring him or whatever. We swapped numbers and all that as well. Yeah, I took his details. He took all my contact numbers. He might have even tried to phone me. Who knows? Um, but that's it, innit? Fake friendships. Yeah. If you're in a fake environment, you're never gonna make a real friend, are you? How can you make you could, but it's a struggle, isn't it, to make a real friend when you're surrounded by fakeness. You live in a fake criminal life, surrounded by fake friends on road, and then when you eventually inevitably get nicked and go to prison, which always happens, you make fake friends in there because you're all just desperate, lonely little souls who don't want to walk about and be Billy No Mates, really. Think how many times it happened to that poor sod, mate, in 28 years as well, yeah? 28 years, how many fake friends he made? How many times he swapped details and was like, yeah, bum, 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 bum. It was like tight as anything for like a year with someone, which I basically was. A year's a long time as well. And then just gets forgotten about. He probably got used to it. He probably knew I was going to forget about it. I'm all there. Oh, no, I'm not. I definitely won't forget you, friend. Definitely won't. Definitely won't. Instantly forgot him. But he did earn a PlayStation out of it. So apples and oranges, yin and yang, and all that. If you enjoyed that, hit subscribe, and we'll chat in a bit. Adios.